All right, I think we're going.
We're going.
How you like that chair?
It's all right.
It's funny. So this is my first real ergonomic chair right here.
That one?
Yeah. And
This is like a gaming one, right?
I know. So I didn't know what ergonomic meant. I just thought it meant like help support the back. And so on a real ergonomic, you're supposed to like spin this and it's supposed to be integrated into the chair. And I talked to my mentor about it. I'm like, yeah, you got to try this chair. It's so sick. It's better than my other ergonomic. And he's like, send me a picture of your other one. I sent him a picture of that one. And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't have high hopes for an ergonomic chair where the only ergonomics is that pillow behind you, dude.
I took the pillow off.
Actually. Oh, okay. I see. That's
It was
good.
like not sitting right, so.
Yeah. Wait, so we were talking about content creation, right? I want to hear what you're about to say about that.
Okay, so what I was just saying to Scott, when it comes to people that are intelligent, so like IQ. So when it comes to those type of people, they're very judgmental of their work, which means they're gonna, make some music or they're gonna make some videos, whatever, and then they're not gonna post it because they're like, oh, it's not how I want it. People that are dumb, air quotes, they are just not gonna care and they're just gonna post it.
Yeah.
And then it's done.
Yeah, and that reminds me of what they said. They said the most intellectual people are the most humble because of what they don't know. Like, for example, someone gets into science and then they realize, like, holy shit, there's a lot more to science. Like, they start to learn a little bit and they're like, whoa, I've learned this a little bit. There's so much more. And so they're knowledgeable enough to know how much there isn't, so they know that they can't be cocky at what they know and everything. And people who aren't as intelligent learn a little bit and then think they know it all. So then they have massive confidence in what they're saying.
Exactly.
I think we know some people like that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I think what you've done for sure is I think you've definitely proven if you don't want to work in a regular job, you can just go out and do it on your own. Like
it is definitely possible.
Pure work. That's all. That's the foundation of most of things for sure. So explain what you do. Before you do this, I think there's like a buzzing. You hear that?
Now I do. Not anymore. Sounds like.
Oh, wait. There we go. Yeah, that's my cloud lifter.
Oh.
Yeah, the cloud lifter, it essentially brings the noise gate down, but amplifies it, if that makes sense. So your vocal's louder, but it kind of brings all the humming down too. So that's why like, when we're talking, it's a powerful vocal.
Powerful vocal. That's what you need.
Powerful vocal. So you started in books, right? Amazon guy.
So, yes, Amazon FBA. So at like the same time, me and Scott and I, we were looking into the Shopify. This was when like Scott had launched his first thing. We kind of did it at the same time. I went to the more FBA route because I found books. And so obviously you guys follow Scott, you know what happened with him. With me, I was looking for a more cost-effective solution.
And where were you working at the time?
So when I first started, I don't know if I was working that, remember I told you about that sketchy job?
Which one?
The one that I only worked for like 2 weeks because all the people they didn't look healthy.
No, tell me about that.
I worked for this company. It's a very, very not popular, but very powerful company. They have a lot of products that they sell, household cleaning products, that kind of stuff. So I got this job working at their factory up north. Pay was great, straight cash. I noticed after working there for like a week that all the people that worked there just didn't seem right. Something about them just did not seem right. The work conditions were definitely subpar.
I wonder if it's the same place that Jacob got a job, because Jacob got a job for a little through the pandemic. I'm going to have him on here and talk about that, but he said that he got this job and the Craigslist like job posting, it said the title, that you get the title and then the description. The title said no drug test required job. And he said the same thing. He said in the orientation, 10 minutes into his first orientation, two guys got in a fight or something. They started fighting each other.
It was like I was hired as like a sub contractor for this company to do like a cleaning crew type
Oh,
gig.
I remember this with
Yeah.
the chemicals.
Yes.
Yeah. So you were like cleaning up chemicals.
Yes.
Damn, that was a long time ago.
Yes, it was. I only did that job for 2 weeks.
But that was like before you started all the Amazon stuff,
Correct.
right?
I was working as a server though. Next after that,
That's right. We're at
Chevy's Mexican restaurant.
Classic
You visited
Chevy's.
the one time.
Oh, that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, actually, I was in school at this point. So right before I started working as a server, still in school, found the books. Very low cost to entry. So with Amazon FBA, most people see the private label where you have to spend thousands of dollars to get your product from China, to do the marketing, to do the packaging, to put it on Amazon and maybe have it work.
Right.
This is a model of retail arbitrage, which is you're finding a buying opportunity, a gap in what it's selling for on Amazon and what you're buying it for.
Right.
So books are like the most unique product because there's so many different types of books. There's so many different titles. There's like 63 million on Amazon, something like that.
And so when you start Amazon, is books the only category you can sell in, or it's like the easiest one to sell in?
So yeah, books is like one of the handful that out of the gate, every Amazon seller can sell like books.
Right.
With, there's an exception, a couple textbooks here and there you can't sell. There's other ways you can monetize the textbooks. But yeah, it's such a low cost to entry right there, because the books at just like a Goodwill or regular thrift store, it's only going to be a couple bucks a piece.
Yeah.
And, not every book is like this, but there's some books that sell for 50, 60, 100. I've sold a book. I think the most I've sold a book for was $200. It was about bass fishing.
And you got it for like 40, right?
I got it for a quarter.
Oh, whoa. What is it? What kind of return is that? That's that's an 800% return.
I don't know about the percentage, but it was definitely a nice little grab.
Yeah, definitely. So wait, did you find a course or anything on this, or
No,
did you just do it grassroots?
So there's this guy who has created one of the most popular book scanning apps. His name is Caleb Roth, the Book Flipper. And so he had this video, and it was like the 100 book challenge or something like that. And it was a goal or like a challenge with him and some other people to try to find 100 books a day for like a month or something like that.
Oh my God.
And so they did that, and it was kind of like a promo piece for this scan app, Scout IQ. And at the time, I'd seen the video, and I was like, okay, whatever. Nobody thinks books are, worth anything. And so I was like, no one's making money off books. So this was like 2 to 4 months after
Except
watching.
the colleges. The colleges are making boatloads on the books.
Correct. and you can make a lot of money just selling textbooks. There's people that do just textbooks.
Yeah.
It's good business model.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can only watch so many YouTube videos. You can only consume so much content on how to do something, but nothing happens until you actually go there and do it.
Yeah.
And I remember most vividly the first time I went there and I did it, and I bought these books, and I have a video of myself after I was like sick at the time. So I'm like pre-COVID. I was like, yeah, I got these books. I got them for $1. I'm going to sell them for $5. I'm going to break even. All the books that I bought, I lost money on.
Really?
Yes.
You got each for $1?
On average, like $1.50.
And you ended up selling them?
Yes. I mean, over the course of time, not right away, but like the books that I did sell, those first books all lost me money.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't know what I was doing. And that's just going to happen. You're going to lose a little money here and there. It's called a loss or a lesson.
When was the time frame on this? Like right when you started. So you're starting while you're working at Chevy's, right? Or did you just quit Chevy's and go balls
No,
deep?
I was not working at Chevy's quite yet. I was still a student. It was my last semester at college.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's 2018.
Correct. It was April 2018.
Gotcha.
It's been about 2 years and some months.
Okay, so you started doing that, and then you got the job at Chevy's, and you're still doing it, right?
Yes, and at this point, I'm kind of doing it more, just kind of making it work. I got the serving job as just kind of a way to make some money. I was trying to find a job in my career path, which was network engineering. So I was going to school to do like IT stuff. And I got to the realization while I'm looking for, this network engineering job, while I'm working at Chevy's, and while I'm also going and doing the books a couple days a week, I was like, wow, there's a huge potential to make way more money.
Yeah. On your own time.
On my own time, and not have to, kind of be capped at whatever the pay would be. I think network engineering was like a pretty good one, so like 60 to 80,000 a year.
Yeah.
And so I just decided, I'm gonna go all the way in. And I actually had worked at Red Lobster after that.
Gotcha.
Shout out the Cheddar Bay biscuit.
Oh yeah. So when was like that? Like, because I remember my first day when I realized I never had to work for anybody ever again. When was that for you? And was it that day that you quit the Red Lobster? And did you make it longer than the chemical cleanup facility?
At Red Lobster? Oh yeah.
Okay.
I worked there for 3 to 4 months. I had switched jobs because I wanted to, in hope, make more money working at like a higher class restaurant. Didn't pan out as I had planned.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where I was like, if I put the amount of time and energy into the serving as I could into like books, finding books and that kind of stuff, sky's the limit.
Yeah, easily.
And 2 weeks later, I was doing just that.
Wow. And how was it training through Darden? Because I remember when, I don't know if we even knew each other when I worked at Olive Garden. No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did. I think so.
I was 16.
I don't know. I got an interesting story I'll share on the podcast about us meeting, actually.
What?
The first time, we can come back to the FBA. New story real quick. So, when was this? I was going to be a freshman. Scott's 1 year older than me.
Oh, that's right.
I was going to be a freshman. I was like being a freshman. First day of school. Well, actually, back up. Summer before freshman year, my friend David showed me this guy on YouTube that he went to school with or something like that. And because I was making YouTube videos at the time, and he was like, oh yeah, this guy, he's got a bunch of YouTube videos. He's got almost 100 subscribers. I was like, damn, that's awesome. And the video I saw was you eating flamin' hot wings from Buffalo Wild Wings, like the blazing, no water.
Yeah.
He ate them all with no water. It's a classic video.
You remember the start of that video, the first bite? One of the tendons slingshotted some blazing right into my pupil. The
whole time Scott's like, my eyes is still just bashing up no water. Everyone else is in extreme pain.
Yeah. I remember that we made that video 2012. That was the first month after I moved to Lindbergh.
And so I go to school. This is like it was either the first day or the second day because it was like the block scheduling. I don't remember. Go to gym class, and I see this kid sitting there. I'm like, oh, wow, that's the kid of the video that I was just watching. And I was like, Scott, I said something to you, and I was like, I think I said that, I knew what your YouTube name was at the time. I won't say.
Yeah.
And you're like looking at me so confused. You didn't know I didn't know you. We didn't know each other. I was like, yeah, I saw your video, and you were like, oh, wow, and you were just so thrilled. I was like, history, boom.
Yeah, it's crazy back then because YouTube, it's like, it's weird looking at those videos because we were so ahead of the curve, like drawing the mustache on John. Like, that was a vlog and a half right there, and people were not vlogging. I made that video in 2009, actually, and that was a straight vlog, and it's like nobody knew the future, so like I didn't think people actually got recognized off YouTube or anything. It's something I've always wanted to do and something I do now, luckily. But I know you had a viral video go pretty crazy too. You technically you have way more views than me because I think total on YouTube I have like 3.5 million.
Yeah.
And your one video, it got like
6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
And then you made the sequel, which got a couple million.
Yeah. So that's what I like to call accidental virality.
Yeah.
So weird that this happened. It was like, if we want to go into the story.
Definitely.
So I've like always been, or at this time period, always like making videos. Like I had my YouTube channel, and then at the parallel, you were doing your YouTube stuff too. Just making dumb videos, just making videos. That's all it is. And I was really like hooked on the, who was that one like rage kid? There was a one, he like shoved the remote up his butt.
Oh, I just posted that photo.
I know.
Greatest freak out ever. Waffle Pone.
Yeah. So I was like, this dude, he's got so many views. There's no thought of money at this time at all. Just we're just making
Definitely.
videos. Didn't even know you. Well, it doesn't matter.
The monetary reception that you get is the laughs, like showing your friends and their laugh. That's all. The money from YouTube. What do you mean?
So I was just like hooked on these, like, I knew that they were fake, but it was like the rage reaction videos. And so my cousin and I, we made this, if you look it up on YouTube, it's called Kid Destroys Xbox 360 over Black Ops. And in this video, we destroyed, it was the outer shell of an Xbox. If you guys didn't know it, this is a fake video. We destroyed the shell of it. I just threw it. This is 2009, very long time ago, might I add. And November, that's when we made it. So then, when was it? May? Maybe May. It was like around that time period. My cousin had said something about, hey, like, look at the YouTube video, like, because he had uploaded on his channel too. He's like, look at the views that it's getting. And it was like, my videos, I didn't have 100 subscribers. I didn't have like anything. They were getting like 10, 20, 30 video, views. It had like 10,000 views.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa, like, what the heck? And then like a couple days later, it was at like 40,000 views. And then like 60. And then like, and it was like snowballing so weirdly.
And you're like 11 or 12 at the time, right?
No, this was before going into freshman year.
13, 14 then?
14, yes.
14.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy cow, like, this is crazy. And so then it started to pop, and I got on the monetization thing, like, right before school started. And at this point, I didn't know, like, obviously I told my parents about this, and they're like, oh, no, you can't make money on YouTube.
Of course. There's no way.
And then, like, I signed up for it, and I didn't have any of, like, the tax situation. The taxes are all paid, don't worry. But, you can sign up for it and get set up before you actually get your payments and have to pay anything on it. I was getting these huge checks of like $200-$300 at a time, like every 2 weeks or something.
Oh, my God.
I showed my parents, and they're like, they had no idea what was going on. Like, they didn't know that this was like real. Eventually, they found out, but like,
did they want to shut it down? Shout out Mikey Cass's parents.
No. But I was like, I started going into school, and literally all I was doing in school during like my learning time, there was like a block where you had like free time. I would just look at the YouTube monetization metrics. I would just refresh it and just see, I'm just sitting here, 14 years old, making a bunch of money. And I'd feel like I didn't do anything. I just made a video.
Yeah. And
weird. So weird to me.
I wonder if that implanted something in your brain.
100%. Million. I think about that all the time. Because at that point, then I was like, dude, I'm going to buy this GoPro 3, the GoPro Hero 3.
Oh, yeah.
I bought it, and I was like, I didn't have a job. I got it from YouTube, and I used it to make YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Cool little thing. So 100%, like when I saw that first dollar.
Yeah, when I got my first check from YouTube, it was, let's see, I think 9 years after I created it. So it took 9 years to make $100. And then
that was the threshold.
With that $100, I bought a watch. And then that's when I wrote my first rap. Remember that one when I was like, motivation on my wrist where my watch sits, attaining all the shit resistant to the Glock clips. And then that really showed me, it's like, I remember when I bought that, I made a post on Instagram too. This is when I had like 100 followers over. I'm like, motivation on my wrist where my watch sits. It's like, they really showed to me that I can make money doing what I love to do, and that's making YouTube videos. And so that implanted something, circling it all the way back. You're at Red Lobster, and you're thinking about that video that went viral, and you're like, I've been working on, I think I can do this. I think I can do this. Do you remember the day you quit?
It was either the day I quit or like the day after I like came over here. That was when Jacob also quit his job at Boeing, and he was telling us about that crazy story. Remember?
Oh, was that same day?
I don't know if it was the same day. It might have been the day after.
Around that time.
Close. I remember it was very close.
So this was like January 2019.
No, it was May.
May 2019? Or 20?
Yes.
Okay.
May 2019.
That makes sense. Because I didn't start hanging out with him till January, February. Yeah. So after you did that, what happened?
I mean, it's still happening. Like, I'm just, plugging away. I'm basically growing this business.
Right.
That's
Well,
what's happening.
On your personal side of things, it's Monetary Ocean.
Yes, at Monetary Ocean.
What made you choose that? Because I remember we talked about this too.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. You might want to go with your name.
I really like that idea, like the monetary ocean. The ocean is the internet.
Yeah.
The ability to literally like create money. Like the internet provides the opportunity to, if you have one of these, you can make money on the internet.
For those of you who are just listening,
yeah.
he's holding up a gun right now.
Yes. Okay.
If you have this, you can make as much
Dude.
money as you want.
Hey, during the riots, it did make me a bunch of money.
Yeah, that reminds me of something Grant Cardone said. He's like, you guys think money's limited? You guys think I'll tell you what money is. You go to the ocean with a bucket, and you just put that bucket in the ocean. You got a bail of water. Hey, you can dump that somewhere else. You can just come back. Look at the ocean, man. Look at the ocean, man. There's tons of it. You just keep going. That's what money is.
It's true.
So I could see two analogies for your name.
My guy is Steve Mnuchin. This guy's a beast. He just printed what, $1 trillion?
Who?
Steve Mnuchin.
Oh, I thought that was J Pow doing that.
Yeah, they're shaking hands.
Yeah,
at
definitely.
the same time.
They said in the past 3 months, the inflation on the U.S. dollar, I think it was either 3 or 5%.
Yeah, I believe it.
So that makes sense why the stock market keeps going up, because it's a way to counteract inflation.
I believe it.
Yeah. So you got Monetary Ocean. With a name like that, I could see it being expanded into like a sort of like website, not similar to Motley Fool, but not obviously to stocks. Do you ever like look towards going that route?
So yeah, when I first had the idea, I didn't want to have like the personal brand, like where it's just me. I would like to have something that I can contribute to, and then also have other people contribute to it, and kind of have like a community of sorts that is people making money online, aka the Monetary Ocean.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. And we're still working towards that. But that's just that's the big goal.
Gotcha. And you're still doing YouTube still?
Yes.
How is that going?
It's going all right. I haven't posted too much recently, unfortunately, but I do have a lot of faith in YouTube, as I've always have.
Right. I'm telling you, do you know Jamie Ibanez at all? I just discovered this guy.
The kid? Kind of?
He is the guy, he does ATMs, but he mainly does something very niche, which is like, I forget, I'm blanking on the name from has candy, water.
Vending machine?
He does all vending machines. Mm-hmm. And what I really like about Jamie is he does all of his videos pure, like most of them have sprinkles of education, but pure vlogs of him going to the machines, getting the money out, replacing them. Yeah, I've never seen anyone do that before. And I think you doing that, I mean, it's just crazy. It's like we were talking about at the beginning of this. It's like, the name of the game, honestly, is consistency in content, for sure. If you're consistent in content, it's hard to fail, unless it's like you see a lot of these like older people hear this, and then they just make the most boring videos over and over and over again. It's got to be...
It has to have some uniqueness.
Yeah.
The consistency brings them in, but the quality keeps them.
Yes.
That's the most important.
And you know what else it has to do, with uniqueness? Personality. A lot of people are very afraid because they think it's not business-like to include that much personality and all this, and how people, maybe that was the case in the 50s when you're trying to work up the ladder, but in YouTube, you just got to think of the platform you're on. This isn't LinkedIn. You're going after YouTube. And I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, because I told you about those two people who were pissed at me for making the vlogs. And I'm like, okay, yeah, they were both like 40 or 50. But if I keep making these vlogs, I'm not really speaking to the people who are going to die in 20, 30 years. I'm speaking to the people my age and below me who are going to understand and gravitate towards this. It's like the Gary Vee thing where he's like, I'm on TikTok, and a lot of these kids probably aren't even old enough to make a business or even start an LLC, but I know in 20 years when they will, and they're going to remember these videos. And it's like, I really like the way he does that.
Smart.
Yeah. What do you think of Gary Vee? Oh my God, did you see his fucking he did one of those flashback videos where he like said something. He was saying in 2016 he was showing these basketball cards. Do you do any basketball card flipping?
I don't sell individual cards, but I sell the packs.
Gotcha. Okay, I see. Yeah, he was saying everybody right now should go buy this card. It's gonna go up. And at the time he showed it, it was
Luca.
Luca. Oh, what really?
I don't know how to say his last name. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was so. That one. It went from 220 to like 850 in 2 years.
I believe it.
My boy Gary Jones, you know him, right? Mm-hmm. He said that he spent $35,000 on cards, and right now they're appraised at $900,000.
Here's what it is. Well, I mean, now sports are back, but people lost their sports, and people love gambling.
Yeah,
cards are gambling.
That's a good point, actually.
If you're ripping packs and you're looking for cards, gambling, you can make great investments. Like most people think investing, they think of stocks or like gold or Bitcoin, whatever. You can invest in a lot of weird little things, cards, Legos, old toys,
even car parts.
You can invest in a lot of things.
Yeah, with crazy returns. Mm-hmm. It's so funny to me that these big stock like management companies, they're thrilled if they get an 8% a year return. It's weird. It's because it's like just what we saw right there. I think that's a 300% return in 2 years, outperforming the stock market, outperforming these firms and these ETFs, VTIs, STDs, and all this shit. You know,
But it comes also down to the consistency of the return. Like, yeah, he can sell that, realize the gains, but then like he doesn't have the cards anymore and he can't get them at that low price again.
Yeah.
So it's a one-time deal.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, you're still going to make the gains regardless.
For like retirement purposes and safety purposes, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
I remember my mentor showed me some because I'm obviously doing options trading, but I'm also, we have this catchphrase he came up with. It's called consistent long trading for consistent short-term trading for consistent long-term trading. So we do short-term with the options. Like we're pulling out 30. So I pulled out one the other day, 500% in like 4 hours. And it's just like crazy to see that. So basically you take like an account of 10,000, you scale up to 100,000, you take that 100,000, and then there's literally 2 indicators we work with where when they cross, you buy. When they cross again, you sell, like when the blue's over the red or whatever. And I was like skeptical at first. And he's like, all right, here, do this. Look at Facebook stock and see how much your percentage gain would be over 1 year. And I did it. And at the time, this is like when after it crashed, so it was like 175. So I was like, over 1 year, I think it was 8% gain or something crazy low like that. He's like, all right, not bad. Now look at the year, put in the moving averages, and then do the math where if we bought and then sold at every indicator, 85% for the year. And it's that simple. It's that simple. So I just started my SEP IRA, so I'm invested in the VTIs or VTI. So I can understand that for long term, like 50 years down the line. But for like these kids, I don't know. Stocks is a whole different fucking beast.
If anyone's listening to this or watching this and they're not invested in any stocks, or maybe they're not old enough to be invested into anything, get yourself situated or talk to people that are smart with money about a Roth IRA.
Yeah.
If you're young, if you're 18 or under, get to know what this is. And when you're old enough, start putting money into it, because time will compound that money beyond anything that you could put into it.
See, I talked to my financial advisor, and he recommended a SEP IRA. Because apparently SEP IRAs are tax deductible, while Roth IRAs it's a different coding. I don't know. I don't even want to go.
This is not financial advice.
Yeah, I don't even want to go down that road because I'm already saying I don't know halfway into my first sentence. But anyway, you got a storage unit recently, right?
Correct.
How's that been going?
It's been going for sure. It's
because you're doing everything out of like a room in your apartment, right?
So I have a business partner. We have kind of split up between, or I do a lot of eBay stuff too. So I would keep the eBay stuff and like the merchant fulfill Amazon stuff at the apartment, and then his house would be more for the FBA stuff. So I would get stuff to him that's FBA do the shipments over there.
Oh, you mean like shipments to Amazon?
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was handling the more customer orders.
Gotcha.
We got a lot of stuff. That's all I got to say.
How many items do you have right now for sale listed?
Oh, on
eBay, Amazon, everywhere, if you had to guess.
Okay, for sure on Amazon, it's just a tiny bit under 4,000.
Oh, whoa. Yeah. So just on Amazon.
Correct. So then eBay is another like 200 or 300, something like that.
Wow. So you prefer Amazon over eBay?
I mean, if you want to take the merchant fulfill out of the equation, there's a handful of merchant fulfill in there too. In the 4,000, I hate to say it, but it's passive. Essentially, you put the work in up front. That's why it's not really passive. But then, like, if I were to be 100% FBA, send in all my stuff FBA, I could then go anywhere I wanted, and every 2 weeks, Amazon's gonna pay me. As long, obviously, I'm picking good stuff. I'm buying.
Right, but they'll take like 20%, right?
40.
40%.
More or less 40. But I'm always, there's ways to, you figure out what the right buy cost is. It's not like I'm losing money because of the 40%.
Yeah. Jeff Bezos, do you see what he announced today? Ooh, it's big.
What's up?
I can't believe he even said this, dude. He said, based on the riots and the COVID, I like how he threw the COVID in there too. He's thinking about moving Amazon out of Seattle, which is nuts. Yeah. They built Seattle. Have you been to Seattle?
No, not yet.
Dude, you walk there and it's 9 square blocks. I think it's even bigger, and it's only Amazon. Massive skyscrapers, the big domes and everything. He built Seattle. Seattle was like an okay town. Then Amazon came and it just like flourished. If he goes to Austin, I think it might be time for me to go to Austin too, because you got Tesla going to Austin, Joe Rogan's going to Austin. I talked to 3 people this week who were living in LA, all moving to Austin. Austin's going to be massive. I already know it's going to be
Why Austin? Why not anywhere? I mean, Dallas or whatever.
Well, okay, so Austin has always been known for the most progressive place in Texas, which means progressive in film, progressive in music, progressive in art. That's by far the most progressive city. Okay. So that's why like all these people are attracted to it. It's because you're not going to go to like Dallas where like, Mark Cuban's there and it's just like, established. Like Austin's, it seems like kind of came out of nowhere like 10 years ago. You didn't hear about much about Austin, but I think the big pull, especially people in California, they're raising the state taxes 17.5%, max exodus all the way. Texas is super appealing because it's warm all year. It can get fucking hot out here.
Sweet. It's Texas.
Exactly. And the best thing is no state income tax. It's just like Grant Cardone said, hey, and I don't like Grant Cardone too much based on his response to the coronavirus, but I really like what he said in an interview with NBC. They're like, so Grant, why did you move? So Grant, can you say that you like Florida better than California? And he goes, oh, I like Florida a lot better than California. 11.5% more, something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that adds up. If you're making $100 million,
the law of large numbers is a thing. That's a lot of money.
Oh my gosh! And I can't right now. I know to live in Beverly Hills, because if you live in LA, it's like you pay township percentages too. I think to live in Beverly Hills, you pay like 4 or 5% extra on top of that, and I think you actually pay some to LA. And then you pay some to California, and then you pay some to the federal state. And I think
people grabbing their money. They've
been pushed for a while, and I think this this is what knocked it over and be like, I'm not paying an extra 5%. Like the market's obviously in a bubble. They're going to sell their house right now. When everyone moves out, that's going to crash. And then I might buy a house out there. Fuck it. Give me that 17.5%.
Hey, it's, I've been thinking about, or not Austin specifically, but Texas as a whole, like to have a main residence there.
I've been thinking the exact same thing, especially since you can pretty much guarantee that your house is going to go up in value.
Even if it doesn't, like I'm someone who likes to have, some space. So like the city, I like the city kind of vibe, but also I like to have a nice little property. Texas is the perfect opportunity for land ownership because there's so much of it, pretty much.
Do you know what, geographically, where the ocean is from Dallas?
On like the right or the east side?
Yeah.
The Gulf or whatever? No.
It can't be too far away.
I mean, everything's a car ride away.
In Texas?
Yeah.
Texas is a massive fucking state.
The whole country. You can drive your car wherever you want, dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I feel you. So what are your plans coming up? What are your plans for Monetary Ocean? Like big plans? Like what are you working on now? Because I know something I've been learning from you is the ungatedness property of Amazon and how like I can't say exactly who, but I think I told you this. There's a certain person that I know who knows other certain person who did extremely well on Amazon, and a large portion of that success is contributed it because he was one of 4 people to get unbarred from sex toys. And once you become one of those 4 people, it's like a monopoly. And it's so weird how it can be sometimes random, right?
So I wouldn't say random for specific brands or specific categories. It's a lot of red tape and knowing the right people, essentially. If you're able to have a wholesaler distributor that is able to get you ungated with Amazon and become one of those 4 people, I mean, those companies are not looking to give out the ungating to sellers. So there must have been some sort of a value transaction of the person that you know to get ungated.
The story I heard is he woke up one day and he randomly had it. This was in 2016, though.
Okay, yeah. Back then it was easier. I don't know this because I wasn't selling on Amazon, but from what I've heard, ungating back then was very simple, and they've since increased barriers to entry.
So I guess my question is, how come the wholesalers just wouldn't list it themselves?
It just depends. They might have contracts where they're selling it to stores, and they don't want to mess with the online arm.
Yeah.
And so sometimes a wholesaler, like an Amazon seller like myself, could come to this wholesaler and say, hey, I will be your e-commerce seller. You give me your products at whatever discussed price, and then the rest happens.
Yeah.
Sell it,
I saw somewhere, I think Amazon's doing like, well, I guess this is old numbers, but Amazon's doing like $20 billion a month.
I don't know the numbers, but I could believe that.
I think it is about $20 billion a month. So when I heard that, I was thinking about like me looking at like my Shopify stats and being like, holy shit, 100,000 this month. Yes. And then looking at other people's Shopify stats and being like, oh my God, $1 million in a day. Like, oh God, I'm blanking on his name. Oh my gosh, how can I blank on his name? I told you about him. He works for Grant Cardone. I met him at Ty Lopez's, and he said he did $1 million in a day on a salad chopper. Yeah, through Facebook. Because here's the thing. It was right before Facebook launched Facebook Parties. So it's like where it's like a page can go, like have a live video playing. So they tested it on his, and he had all these viral pages. And to have them test it, they gave him 100% reach to their entire platform. So he said he had like 10 or 15 pages with millions and millions of followers each, and every single one guaranteed saw that ad.
Yeah, there are a lot of conversions. And if you guys heard what he said a salad chopper. A salad chopper. Probably from AliExpress for like $1 maybe.
Yeah.
Someone who has a high IQ would say, who would buy a salad chopper?
Right.
And they wouldn't pursue it. But someone who's, quote, dumb, or, they're going to be like, the numbers say people want salad choppers. Get the salad choppers going.
It's just like all those people would be like, well, if it actually worked, why wouldn't everyone do it? It's because 80% or way more than that, 95% people ask that same question to themselves, and then they have an excuse not to try something new. It's pretty crazy. And it's like, who would have ever thought the fidget spinner would have pulled in the money it did? I had an opportunity when I went to New York with Tanner. He was buddies with the guy who basically started it. Did I tell you that story?
You did, yeah.
And how he was 3D printing them in his basement, and then he got contracts with Walmart, and he's like 17. It's just like
crazy. There's
so much opportunity out there, and people just tell themselves the same old story that probably their parents told them, or like, I hate to use this word, but what the media told them would work and what wouldn't. I don't know.
It's just worth trying.
Yeah.
What happens if you fail?
Like
you lose some money.
I know a lot of people who make TikToks, hundreds of TikToks, has never posted one. Makes tons of YouTube videos, never posted one. It's the same ideology behind this. It's all these people who, like, I like what Gary Vee says when he's like, if another fucking person tells me they had the idea for Uber before Uber, I'm gonna fucking, I forget what he said, but it's just like so many people, someone said that to me the other day. They're like, I had that idea for Uber way before Uber. Cool.
And then it passed right through your brain as you were scrolling.
Exactly. Some people even think they should have compensation. What about this lady? Oh my God, you see this
like
lady?
The IP trolls.
What IP trolls?
Intellectual property trolls. That's like a different discussion.
Okay, yeah. Well, you see that lady in, I think it was California, where the barista at, what was that called? Starbucks. He's like, I can't serve you until you put a mask on. So she whipped out her camera, one of those cringy people, and started videotaping. I'm like, he will not serve me without a mask on. He's like, yep, that's right. And all this. And then she posted it. And obviously, she did not get the response she wanted to. But she got, that kid ended up getting $100,000 from a GoFundMe for his college. Because he's like, I'm just working here to pay off college.
Yeah.
Or to go to college. And she was like talking shit on that. And so after that happened, she started contacting these news networks saying, I demand I get half of that money because that was my video. I contributed to this. It's like, no. Dude, these people who scream at workers for as if it's their policy, it's hilarious. Have you seen any of this happen, in person?
Not in person, thankfully, because I'm just like, you can say, you can bring whatever political spin you want to put on the mask. Whatever, it comes down to this. Being sick is not fun.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever the sickness is. If you had a way to prevent
sick bars.
Yes, exactly. If you had a way to prevent said sickness and prevent you from spreading said sickness, wouldn't you kind of want to not get sick?
Yeah.
Essentially. I don't like getting sick at all.
Even beyond that, you could just be mad at the government for mandating these businesses who mandate the mask. Don't be mad at this fucking employee.
This kid, yeah.
Right here.
It's easier.
When me and Tristan were going to Colorado, we stopped at this gas station to get some food, and I was like, "Oh, that looks like a cool chicken place," because it was like a McDonald's right here, a gas station right here, and then a chicken place right here. And we're 2 months into COVID, so it's obviously going. So I go up to the handle, as I don't know if you noticed this before COVID. Before COVID, I'm always opening the door with my shirt because I'm not going to touch a handle that plenty of people have touched. And I do that. I open the door like this. And this lady from behind the chicken thing, above the open chicken with the mask under her mouth goes, that's not going to help, right? Dude, I just wanted to, I didn't know she said that until Tristan told me later. And I would just been like, oh, so all of a sudden not touching this handle is going to prevent me from getting the flu? It's not going to be like, the flu still transfers touch to touch. It's not like I'm just concerned about one illness. I've been doing this my whole life. It's just... Yeah. The fact that this lady, who I was about to order food from, pulls her mask down to tell me this while she's spitting all over the chicken, it's hilarious.
It's a weird time we're living in.
I know.
Very tense.
It's like wonder what do you think the history books are going to say about all this? Because that's going to be really interesting.
It will be one for the history books, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. I'm interested 20 years from now what is said about this time.
Yeah.
Because I'm very, very interested to see how the election pans out. Not because I don't really care about politics and that kind of stuff. I'm very concerned about the USPS, United States Postal Service.
Yeah. Especially for your business. So I guess for all businesses.
It doesn't even matter. Like, people will say, oh, yeah, you just won't be able to make as much money. No. When you order, Amazon has trained Americans 2 days.
Yeah.
Everyone is trained.
And
I need it in 2 days.
They can't even fulfill that anymore.
It's not possible. This will cause serious delays, especially Christmas time. Everyone knows what day Christmas is on. It's on the 25th every single year.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So when do the majority of Americans buy their Christmas presents 1 week before Christmas? Not a majority, but everyone knows the people that buys their Christmas presents right before Christmas.
Yep.
You're not getting those presents until January. Sorry. It's not happening.
I don't know. And it's a shame that when the virus started, I really thought that like this is gonna be the one thing that we're all gonna unite under or whatever. And then it became political. And it's like to even talk about the virus now, people will start assuming what political stance you are on just because of your opinions. And I've always said this, it's like quit choosing a political party, start choosing policies that you believe in.
Exactly.
And like it's crazy to me because I saw the development happen live in people. Like, you know me, I was very for the shutdown at the beginning. I'm like, we need to shut down everything, we need containers, whatever. And now I'm getting a little more lighter on that. I'm like, we can't really destroy the whole our whole nation because of this. So it's like, I saw people literally transform. There was like 1 or 2 weeks when it became political, and people transformed their complete views because their political party was telling them what they should feel. So all their friends who were in that political party started feeling some way. So they felt it's like, just choose things you believe in. Who cares about the political party? It's like, exactly. I believe a lot of things the Republicans believe in, and I believe a lot of things the Democrats believe in. And I disagree with a lot of them on a lot of things. Exactly. So it's like, why the fuck? It's two wings of the same bird, so to speak.
Not flying anywhere too fast.
You're not going to fly anywhere?
No, the bird with two wings. It's not flying anywhere. We're not doing too good right now.
When do you think you're going to get on your next plane?
Ooh. I don't know. I mean, I'm not anti, but my girlfriend was just on a plane recently, so
yeah,
it was by. She said it was not what she was hoping it would be, for sure.
Well, what was she hoping it would be?
A little bit more space between the people on the seats.
Oh, okay. I see.
But it is what it is, I guess. I prefer driving, though.
Yeah, it's so much better.
Because of the sourcing aspect. I can find products.
Oh, that too, yeah. I just prefer driving, especially now that I don't really have to drive. Mm-hmm. But you really start to understand the landscape and where you're going. It's like,
correct.
I flew to Wyoming, and we got there, and I drove like 6 hours to Kalispell, Montana or whatever. No, not Kalispell, Wyoming. But I think to drive there, I would have gotten a much deeper understanding of the actual state because you're seeing the development, you're seeing the mountains. Yeah. Plane rides, it's like you pass out and then you get there.
Yeah, and for me too, I spent a lot of miles driving around. It's almost like the best time for me, at least, to think.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the car on the road for hours, potentially days, you're gonna be up here a lot. You're gonna be in your head a lot.
You listen to podcasts while you're driving around?
Yeah. I mean, it just depends the kind of mood I'm in. I switch between different things. Sometimes it'll be a little bit music or like a podcast or an audiobook.
What's the main one?
What
besides
my podcast?
The Simplified Podcast.
What other podcasts do you listen to?
The best, in my opinion, like business-related podcast is called Business Wars.
By who?
Wondery.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say Alex Jones.
No,
Alex Jones has a business podcast too.
It's super. You learn so much about these companies. They put two companies head to head, and it's like a 5-part series where they kind of go back and forth during a period of time. So there's one on Coke versus Pepsi, Boeing versus Airbus, Harley. The one I listened to recently, Harley Davidson versus. There's Harley Davidson and the Bike Wars because there's a bunch of different bike companies. Dating apps. There's one going on right now about Tinder and eHarmony and all that interesting stuff.
eHarmony dropped the ball, dude.
They talk about that a lot.
Gosh.
There's so much. You're like, wow. And then you're like, especially if it's things that are happening in your lifetime, you're like, I remember when that happened.
Yeah. I think we're very lucky to be the last generation that remembers the time before the internet. Like, when did you get your first computer with the internet?
When I used the internet for the first time, it was horrible. It was dial-up, and it was we got broadband internet in 5th grade. So up until 5th grade, I had.
Oh, damn. Oh, okay. So
I had dial-up. So I didn't have the internet until the broadband, and then that was Club Penguin, and that was RuneScape time.
When
5th grade.
So me. Before that, when did you get like that internet into your house?
I would say that it was then, because before that, we didn't even use the internet.
But you had it?
Technically, like it was on dial-up, but no one ever taught me how to use the internet or how to do any of that stuff. We had the AOL discs and stuff, but we didn't mess with the internet too much.
We got ours in 2000. It was one of those big ones.
Oh, yeah, it was big computers for a while.
I'll never forget this because I was in kindergarten class, and I really liked this one girl. In kindergarten. So when we got the internet, one of the first things I did was go to boobs.com. And I saw a bunch of boobs. It freaked me the fuck out. I'm like, I can't be doing this to that girl I like in kindergarten. I'm going to wait to see hers first. And then I quickly exited out.
In kindergarten.
It freaked me out. I didn't type in anything like that ever again.
Ever again for the rest of your life.
No.
I believe it.
I'll never forget that it was like one of those old school websites. How it loaded from the top. Yeah. And it started going like that. And I remember very vividly, like there was two boobs right here, right at the top. I wonder what boobs.com is nowadays. I didn't want to check that out. I'm gonna
do it live right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna break that seal, that 20-year seal. Yeah, I remember that though, because are you saying that you didn't get AIM until 5th grade?
Correct.
Damn, you were way behind. I was talking to fucking strangers on the internet since I was
attacked by ninjas
grade.
and stuff, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I forgot to cover in that story the time. I guess I'll do it right here. I'll tell you the story. I'll recap you. So, David, you know that one podcast where I talked about getting robbed?
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah,
And then remember that one, how I also talked about the incident at Santa Monica? I completely forgot to talk about when I moved into this apartment and 2 separate Uber Eats drivers tried to rob my place.
This?
Yeah, have I told you this?
No.
Oh, this is going to be great. So the first day when I moved 3 floors above, the first time I got in this unit, this next day, the AT&T guy comes and he's installing the internet. I'm chatting it up with him and talking about regular stuff. And I ordered some Buffalo Wild Wings. And then...
Classic.
Yeah, 25 minutes later, I'm not even paying attention. I see he's here. I'm like, okay, perfect. And I was just waiting for the knock, right? So I'm sitting there. I'm looking like out because the TV was against the windows at the time, watching TV while the AT&T guy's in the closet installing something. And all of a sudden, I hear a door. I'm like... And I'm like, oh, so the AT&T guy leaves. And then I'm like looking at my phone like this. And then I turn around. It's the fucking Uber Eats guy. Didn't even knock. Huge. Right this guy's had to be at least 6'7", 6'8", scary looking dude. Like probably 260 pounds. He could have ripped my head off. There was no knocking involved at all in this incident. And I turn around and it freaked me out. He goes, "For Scott?" And I go, "Yeah." And then he hands me it. And then he walks out the door. And the AT&T guy's sitting there and he's like, "Oh, wait, did you know that guy?" I go, "I've never seen this guy ever before. That's my Uber Eats driver." He goes, "What the hell?" Like, he's like, "Does this happen normally in this building?" I'm like, "No, this has never happened." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so weird." So from that day forth, what I started doing was I would lock the door and say, leave it on my,
Yeezy pad.
Yeah, leave it on my Yeezy pad, which is on front of my door. And so one night, I'm sitting on my couch. I'm by myself. I ordered a bunch. I think it was Buffalo Wild. No, it was later at night. So it was something else. And I'm sitting there and I look at my phone. It says, "Your driver's arrived," because this is back before COVID when they could come up, drop it off at the door. So I'm just sitting there like this. And I look at the phone. It's like, okay, cool. And I'm like, my intuition just told me, you should see if the door is locked. So I go up. I check the door. And it wasn't locked. Oh, I forgot to say this.
I thought you always locked the door.
I do, but apparently this night I didn't. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I checked this, so I locked it. And I forgot to mention something critical to this story. Before he got there, I always text all my Uber Eats drivers this, "Hey, I'm not home right now. Please leave at the door so I can pick it up." Because that way they're not going to be like, "Oh, well, I need you to receive this." No, just leave at the door. I'll leave you a good tip if you do this. I always said that. I'm not home, so I can't. Because I didn't want them thinking like, "Oh, I'm too good for these people" or anything. Dude, again, I'm not at home in quotation marks, but I'm on the couch. I'm waiting for the food. All of a sudden, I hear, and I'm like, "What is that noise?" And then I hear it again. I'm like, "What?" It wasn't knocking. So I go up to the eye hole, dude. I go up to the eye hole, and I see this guy He doesn't know from 4 inches away, looking around the thing, and he's ripping on my door. He's like trying to get this shit open. He's like he's looking around. This guy had to be on some drugs, dude, because he started going like this. He started ripping it open again. I'm watching this whole thing through my eye hole. I'm like, he has no idea I'm watching this. He even goes as far to look under my neighbor's newspaper. I remember, I thought that was funny. He like looked under my neighbor's newspaper. He looked around again, and then he tried it again. He tried to open it, and then he just walked away. And then I reported it to Uber Eats, and they didn't seem to be concerned at all. I'm like, I'm like, so are you going to fire this guy or not? And they're like,
we'll look into it.
Yeah, we'll look
Open
into it.
case.
It's like, going back, I should have called the police, like, right there and be like, this guy's, like, if you ever call the police, you say you're about to kill somebody, and they're going to come that quicker, dude. Instead of someone's about to kill me, you say, I'm about to kill this person. That's when they send in squad cars after squad cars. They hear I'm about to kill this guy they hear this guy's about to kill me all the time because of fear. Like in LA, when that guy, oh, dude, I didn't even talk about that LA story when that guy, I don't think I did at least, in that same podcast when the guy, first day moving into LA, that guy was in our house. And then I called the cops.
I don't think you talked about that on the podcast.
I did, and oh my God, I missed so many robbery stories. 28-minute response time from the police to get there.
Traffic, dude.
No, it was late at night. But if I would have said, I got this motherfucker right here, I'm about to put a bullet right through his brain, they probably would have been there in a couple minutes. Like, let's be real, because it's like, I don't know, that's just the way it seems to work now.
I've never experimented with that personally, but
Have you ever been robbed by anything?
No.
You haven't had any robbery instances, or close to?
Not that I can. Nothing that jumps out.
I'm
I
gonna
feel like that would jump out. It's like, oh yeah, the one time I was. I don't know.
I'm gonna start asking that question to everyone who comes in now. Everyone's got a good robbery story. I'm sure it's in there somewhere deep.
There's a possibility there's a robbery story somewhere, but
maybe you were.
I was doing the robbing.
David with his gun again.
Yep.
That'd be funny.
It's Missouri, man.
We should start a course on how to make money. Like, you know, like those spammy thumbnails. Like,
yeah.
I saw a meme a while ago. It's like, this is the bank hack that that big banks don't want you to know. And it was some guy in a mask and a gun robbing a bank.
Dude, I will say that is the most cost-effective way to get new inventory for your business.
Yeah.
If you're going to resell online, dude, ski mask. What does that cost you? Like $5? Gun. Yep. You get a BB gun, like $100, something like that. That'll do fine.
Cost of inventory.
Run up.
Completely free.
Grab and go. Yep.
Do you
inventory.
Do you ever see yourself starting to make your own store, like on Shopify, or are you going to keep it all on these other platforms just to avoid that like 40% costs?
So the pull for me is the traffic.
Right.
The free organic traffic.
Yeah.
The amount of eyeballs that are on Amazon, that's like #1 in America, and then eBay is also pretty high up there for organic traffic. It's pretty surprising if you say eBay's still a viable e-commerce platform. People
Definitely
still go
is. There. Yeah, there's a lot of drop shippers on eBay. Mm-hmm. A lot. That's what I started trying to do first.
Yeah,
I was doing what I learned to be like a pretty against the policy drop shipping method of
it's gray.
Amazon Prime, like. The issue was using your Amazon Prime Prime membership for other people. I did one, I think it was like a milkshake maker. I made $5 and I'm like, this is dumb. It's just like I got to type in all this information.
A lot of work too.
If they got to return it, that's going to be an issue.
I did a couple eBay drop ships.
Is that how you started?
Not how I started. I just I had learned about it. And so I think this was end of last year, so November, December. And I did a couple items. Not worth it.
Not worth it
in my opinion. I didn't have any way to automate it.
What avenues do you see yourself going into? Do you want to stay specifically in e-commerce, or do you see yourself going into other, because for example, I'm going into stocks. I know that's pissing a very few amount of people off, but it's so funny to me how it's pissing people off that I'm doing stocks. What the fuck? It's do you see yourself branching out into any other avenues?
Aside from e-commerce, I don't know. I just got this I'm like that kid where I have always been selling something, whether it be lemonade, the classic lemonade stand. I was doing muffins at the lemonade stand. I was doing duct tape wallets, just various different things. And that merchant blood in me says that I'll probably be selling things online, because the online aspect is you can sell to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody that has the internet, like I said before, the ocean. I specifically want to get into e-commerce fulfillment.
Like have your own warehouse where you,
Yes.
okay. Because you can see the money in it for sure.
I see a lot of opportunity in what I want to pursue. And yeah, it's on my like 10-year plan.
Gotcha.
It's kind of a foggy plan. I know what needs to happen. I know exactly what it's going to look like when it's done, though.
Yeah.
That is the key.
And I like it because, like I said at the beginning, you're like the perfect example of like proving that anybody, if they don't like their job, can just go out and make their own in today's climate. I forgot where I was going with that, but
hey, in high school, I wish I had like a printout. I know Gary Vee has like the printout where it's like all bad grades. I was that kid. I had
Same.
D's, only D's,
Yeah.
except for in my computer class, A, and gym, A. D's only, because with D's, you could still get through.
oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
See, I was decent in high school. I had the 3.0. When I went to college, 2.0.
I kind of switched it up. Honestly, college, I'm a student for life.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. I will always be learning with the intention of everything that I learn, I will use at some point in my life. I don't know when, I don't know how, but everything I learn, I will use at some point.
If you could change one thing about the school system, what would you do? Specifically high school. Because I think colleges, that's going to be something that's going to gradually keep fading as it's fading right now, especially with COVID. And people seeing the just stupid $50,000 a year for Harvard, and it's online. No price adjustments at all.
No.
What would you change about the high school system, or just
the high school system?
Besides, like what everyone says is like, oh, more about taxes, how to write a check, all that. Besides that
I would definitely say that there needs to be a life skills focus, like maybe even like a 4-year. You have to do it every single year, because there's a lot of important stuff like
mindset.
I just got a new car recently. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know anything.
Sales tax.
You got to know some things when you get older, and it would be nice to have learned it in high school. The thing for me, I think, would be to change the start times.
Oh, to like later?
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't even make it through my first hour of classes. Like, I would be sleeping.
I think the issue with that is the parents working 9 to 5.
I understand that they're using school as a glorified baby or like a daycare, because parents right now, I've been probing a lot of random people. If I meet like a person or a kid, and they have, if it's an adult and they have kids in school, I'm asking them how they're handling this, because this is every parent depends on the school to take care of their kid, give them lunch from 7:30 or 8 o'clock to 2 or 3, whatever.
Yeah.
And now, in some cases, and it could happen, we'll see what happens, that might not be the case for the rest of the year. Wasn't over the summer.
All right. It's going to be really crazy to see. I think the two things they need to change most is mindset. No, there's no talk about mindset going through school. And then also, I think they should offer entrepreneurship classes in high school. I think they don't want that. The powers that be or whatever, they do not want kids in high school recognizing that there is a path, possibly more successful path than going to college, because, it's all part of the system. That's what, because like Garion made me the shake when I went to his house, and it was so good. It was like a cookies and cream. It tasted just like a milkshake, even better than a milkshake. And then I looked at the nutritional facts of it, and it was like 4 grams of carbs, 44 grams of protein, and then I think like 300 calories. No, 200 calories actually. And I asked them that question. I'm like, why is it that something that can taste just as good as something that is like 1,500 calories with no nutritional value, why isn't this the one that's being preferred or put in stores? And he goes, it's all part of the system. He's like, go into my go look up the back of a barbecue sauce thing right now. I'm like, okay. I looked it up. 2 tablespoons, 13 grams of sugar. he's like, yeah, now look at this, 0 grams of sugar. And it's like, he goes, you got to understand, everything's part of the system. People drink milkshakes and then do a lot of barbecue sauce, put a lot of sugar. So now they get sick. So now they go to the hospital. And then these doctors put them on these medications, pharmaceuticals, pump them. But there's no talk of improving your health. Like, I'm sure that's Joe Rogan's biggest thing about the COVID response. Fauci's not talking about anything about improving your health, taking vitamin C, avoiding sugar. God forbid he say avoiding sugar. Can you imagine if he said possible. That? Not even possible, because the sugar companies scammed the world in the 50s when they convinced people that fat is what makes you fat. I don't know if you know anything about this.
I don't know anything specifically, but I do have an awareness to the kind of marketing things that have happened, like with milk, like the got milk.
Yeah, exactly.
The sugar, I just believe it because it's so, go to McDonald's and drink a sweet tea.
Oh,
There's no tea in there. It's just sugar.
I think it's like 89 grams of sugar in one of those like 32-ounce things.
Gosh.
But it's all part of the system. And ever since he said that, I started recognizing that more. It's like, it's all part of the system. It's like, not to get on a touchy subject for anyone listening, but chemotherapy, dude, 3% success rate. Are you kidding me? And they're still prescribing that like no other. 3%
Cancer's
success
a bitch.
rate.
That's all I got to say on that subject. Cancer is horrible. Like it's a terrible it's a terrible like ailment to get.
What's even more horrible than that, I think, is what Lupe said, truth be told, it's the pursuit of gold that turns the soul of men into trash.
The pursuit of gold that turns men...
Truth be told, it's the pursuit of gold that turns the soul of men into trash. Because they always say money's the root of all happiness. Fucking dude, money's the root of all evil, not happiness. And so when these people way up there, the billionaires and even undercover trillionaires, when they devise the system, like George Soros, not to bring this up, this isn't even a conspiracy. This is what he said in an interview. You can look up the video. He goes, I cannot and will not look at the social economic destruction that my hand causes in these certain climates. The only thing I'm concerned about is money, and that's all I care about. And the truth be told, it's the pursuit of gold that turns because these people up there know this. Like this shake, people could be getting milkshakes that taste just as good, but it's full of nutrition, full of protein.
Like Molk, with Jocko's Molk.
I never heard of Molk.
It's pretty much exactly what you just described. It's a substitute for milkshake. It's like whey type workout drink, but you can use it as a sweet dessert as well. Yeah. But it's really, really good for you.
Yeah. And not addictive.
And
and that's where they get to the addictiveness.
The sugar.
Like everything's addictive. Social media is big because of addictiveness. Serotonin. Like they're able, like, I don't know if you saw that big 2020 where it was a former Google employee and he left because they were having him do certain things that literally scientific, like they had scientists and everything there to make sure that their serotonin levels went off when this happened, when the like happened. And when he refused to do it, he got fired, and then he exposed them all, and then they denied everything. But that's what most money comes from, is addictiveness. Addicted to money, addicted to drugs, addicted to pornography.
Just waiting for that one.
Boobs.com.
Boobs.com.
Yeah, even at 6 they got me. Even at 6.
He's been hooked ever since. No.
I've been hooked ever since. I still go to boobs.com this day.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I guess I had a really good question to ask you, but you went to community college, right?
Yes.
And you finished that, right? You have your degree and everything?
Yeah, my degree.
How's that going?
I mean, I'm doing fine. My degree is still sitting in the envelope that they mailed it to me in.
Yeah.
So
what's the number one thing you think you learned from all your college experience? Your biggest takeaway? Not necessarily a takeaway on the college experience itself, just like takeaway for a life application.
Wow, that's a big question. I realized that it doesn't really, like, you know, if I compared myself to someone who went to like a 4-year college, there's a huge difference, right? The difference is the amount of money we both spent. If we're both doing the same thing, I see a huge like benefit of going to school for the networking opportunity. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the educational, and I can't really even speak for a university experience. I've never been to a university, but I don't know. It's a lot of people just go to college for partying, to be quite honest.
Or they go because their friends go.
Exactly.
And the most common thing I've ever heard is, well, I don't know exactly what I want to do, so I'm just going to go. Yeah, figure it out as you go. It's like Gary. I bring up Gary Vee a lot, but he has some good quotes. He goes, you shouldn't ask yourself, should you go to college? The question should be, why should you go to college? Exactly. And if you can't answer that, don't go. It's as simple as that. My biggest thing I learned from college is the majority of people, it's exactly what we're talking about, will do what their friends do. And the majority of people are very terrified to stand out. And I noticed that a lot when I was going to Mizzou. That was my big thing. Like when I would go out to the bars, every time I started drinking, first of all, especially after I dropped out, I started getting panic attacks. Like, I cannot be here right now. Like, I could be working on social media marketing or this, like, because to be there, I just started recognizing it's like everyone dresses the same. Everyone not only dresses the same, everyone acts the same. And that's what disturbed me the most. Everyone acts the same. When a girl's around, they start acting differently. I just saw, and another big thing I learned in college is like I think a lot of people who go to college specifically just to party, like you said, they're delaying the inevitable of entering the real world. And that's unfortunately why a lot of people get hooked on alcohol as heavy as they do. It's because they partied a lot in high school. I'm getting this uneasy feeling about to enter the world. All right, I'll go to college. So they're partying in college. They're getting this uneasy feeling. Now they're getting out of college and they graduate. Getting this uneasy feeling. I got a lot of student debt. I don't know okay, I'll take this job. They're going to this job every day that they really hate.
Even if, you don't have to really hate it, but that's, it's a job where it's just good enough. They make just good enough money to where they can get the car that they can't afford, the house that they can't afford.
To impress the people they don't like. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's when
unfortunately.
That's when they'll just keep on, like there's a lot of people who just keep on partying until their 50s or 60s to death because they never coped with it or accepted that fact that they never went through that transitional period, in my eyes at least, of finding out who they are. They kind of numbed that feeling all the way through, if that makes sense.
In the book, what is it? Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil.
Oh, I got that right behind me.
I
need to watch that.
Drifters.
Is that what it is?
Drifters.
Do you read that whole book?
Audiobook.
Oh, okay.
I didn't read it. I just listened to it on YouTube. But some people, I mean, I don't care. I'm doing my thing. I'll let people do their thing. I don't really care. Not to say like, oh, I don't care about you. I'm better than you. No, you do you. I can do what I can do. You can do what you can do. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I feel like people in our positions kind of care more about that. What I learned running Facebook ads nationwide and having 2 Facebook ads go to millions of views, dude. And just like I was talking about those people who got really upset with me for making a non-educational video. There's a lot of people who are in those jobs that they really don't like. And then they'll attack anybody who doesn't. So I got so many death threats. I got so many people. And it was weird. A lot of mostly construction workers. Like almost every time it was a construction worker. And he was just yelling at me saying how I don't contribute to this world and how
it's not honest work.
It's not honest work and all this. And I understand where it's coming from. I didn't understand it at first. I'm like, why are these old people just attacking me? Like this one guy said I should get cancer and die probably like a couple hundred times, like in the DMs. And that's when I stopped really responding to DMs a lot. But yeah, it's just a weird, and that's why we need a lot more education on mindset, because mindset, you're just kind of left on your own. Luckily, like we both have looked into mindset and discovered our own mindset and learned about how important the mindset is to getting what you actually want.
So important. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what is taught in school on this topic. It's when you go home and those people's parents are in the same way and they're expressing that out, and their kids hear that, you know,
Yeah.
and then they start regurgitating the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's just a cycle.
I found a really old tweet of mine like a year and a half ago, and I go, if you want to do stocks, don't ask your parents who have only lost money doing stocks. Only listen and ask people who have made money doing stocks. It's that simple. Because like when I started social media marketing, my parents said it was going to fail. And it's so funny. Some guy messaged me like a year ago, and he's like, Scott, I don't know what to do. I didn't grow up in as a fortunate of environment as you who had parents who supplied. Dude, I go, what the fuck are you talking about right now? Like, I remember because the course was $1,000, and I asked, like, do you think I could have a loan for $500 for this course? And they said no, because it's a scam, whatever, like that. Yep. I'm not blaming them at all. I did it all on my own, and now I can take pure pride in that. Yep. It's just the assumption thing is very destructive to a lot of people. They'll assume, like, say, like, LeBron James is... Well, I mean, LeBron James was born with a pretty good fucking gift, but most people in business or like these athletes, they just work. It all came down to work, and most people, they make an excuse in their head. Like that guy, completely blind excuse to why he wasn't doing what I was doing. Completely blind, and I've seen that a couple times. It's like I think there's a Snapchat ad going on with some guy who was self-made, and all these people saying the benefits of having rich parents and all that. Like when I drove my I-8, I got that a couple times. I went to this golf course, and it's not the same, but this guy, there was two guys who was like, dude, nice fucking car, holy shit. And then his buddy he's like, when'd you get it? And I'm like, yeah, I actually just bought it or something like that. And his buddy was like, yeah, I just bought the car payments. And I go, no, I actually bought this all in cash. And then he was interested to know what I did, because the assumption of I'm trying to think of it's another word for excuse, but just placing an excuse right there to make them feel better about themselves because they truly wanted to go a different route.
They wanted it to pan out how they thought it was, to where it's like you then be like, oh yeah, I did, but then you're like, nah, bitch, I fucking just bought this car.
Yeah, it's like oh my god, hey buddy, find a cart path. Remember that guy? This guy came up to us and yelled at us, and then we embarrassed him when he thought it was cart pass only, but the rule changed. And then we had this talk after. It's like some people, they get yelled at by their wives, they get yelled at by their boss all day, and then they find a kid, and then now they find their one opportunity for authority. Yep. And then they find some kids like us, and they realize they literally have no authority over you. And that's a big frustration with the older generation, because it was always the elders held all the knowledge. The elders were the wisdom. And now it's kind of reversing, where the kids who grew up with the internet, and now these old people feel completely out of the loop, super confused. This is all new to them, while with us it's effortless. So nothing against older people. I'm just saying it's like it's a frustrating thing when their entire life they saw and respected. Obviously, we respect our elders, but I'm saying they always saw the elders as the ones with all the answers. Now, in today's world, it kind of is a reverse, where the elders are asking the young kids, like...
And it's pretty cool, because we have very similar... like come-ups, to where like my parents were not well off to where like, oh yeah, here, you can do this now. My parents were not extremely supportive of what I was doing.
Yeah.
There's you have to be, oh man, Russ just has his new song where he said, you have to be the only one, essentially, this is butchering the words, you have to keep your eye on your prize, and you cannot worry about anyone else, what they say, because if you know that you can get it, and you have the ability to motivate yourself still, even though people are telling you, oh no, you probably can't, yeah, you should probably find a job, you're wasting your time, finding books, finding books.
I'll say this right now, if you let your parents or someone in your life
I would hate my life.
Stop you from your dream, you don't deserve it.
No.
You don't deserve it.
You don't want it bad enough. That's what it is. Like, and yeah, I can say that, and people will be like, well, I do want it bad enough. What is stopping you?
Yeah, show me the work.
What is stopping you? If you really want it, and if you're actually really capable of getting it, you will figure it out. And that, that should not deter anyone. That should make people try harder.
Yeah.
The barrier is to be jumped.
That reminds me of, I don't know if you saw it, but I posted a song for like a couple hours and I deleted it because I didn't like the vibe of it. But the line I put in it was, it's a little harsh, but it's true. Your dreams are better off with someone who really deserves it, someone putting in the hours, someone really working. You can see your dreams disappearing while you're lurking, alone with your thoughts asking, was it really worth it?
It's powerful. That's the thing for me too. I could not live with the regret of when I stood at the fork in the road that said job or e-commerce.
Yep.
When I stood at that fork in the road, I could not stomach the regret that I would have not doing the e-commerce and going into the job.
Yeah, or at least not even trying.
Exactly.
That's what I was watching a Dana White interview, and he said that he was a bellman, and on the 4th day he quit. He's like, what these people don't understand is like, I can always go back and be a bellman.
Exactly.
But I can't always go back in my life and then try to do it. It just doesn't work. And he started with $0 and he sold it for $7 billion or something like that. What do you think of Bitcoin?
So I've actually been, I'm not like a Bitcoin crypto dude per se. I've been into Bitcoin for a very long time. I used to mine a lot of the altcoins. So like Litecoin, there's Feathercoin at the time. There was a bunch of different stuff. Whenever the difficulty was way lower,
yeah,
you know what I'm
you
talking about.
could do it on a laptop.
I was setting up, like I was buying graphics cards and making milk crate.
That's awesome.
Miners, like I was mining that.
What was the most Litecoin? Like how many Litecoin were you getting?
I think I could mine like 1 per week.
Okay.
At that point. And this is like my biggest failure, I think, in the crypto space and extremely detrimental to potential money. But I sold all my Bitcoin. I had like 0.1 of a Bitcoin. I sold all of it for the going rate of $400.
Wow. I got an even crazier story. So I asked my mentor a couple of days ago about Bitcoin. He's like, yeah, man, I'm not going to lie. I bought tens of thousands of Bitcoin when it was at about 80 cents. And then he said when eBay started accepting it, like way back in the day, he bought like some auto parts. He bought $400 worth of auto parts, which he's like in today's equivalents, I think it was like $4 million worth of auto parts. But here's the upsetting part. He said that he had like, I think 20,000 Bitcoin in a wallet, but it wasn't like Coinbase back then. That was back when it was like coded and like,
yes.
He didn't even really know because this is
it's just on a computer is how it is.
Yeah.
Like on your computer.
Exactly. So this is like 2000, like, I don't even know.
9, 10.
Yeah,
11,
yeah, around there.
Probably.
And he said he like kept buying into it. And then this is when it was like $20 and then it rose to 100. And then the big fall happened when it hit 100, it went back to 20. And he said he was so frustrated with it and he was focused on stocks and his real estate company at the time. He just like poo-pooed it away. To this day, he still owns those Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Has no idea how to access it.
Yeah,
doesn't know. Lost, dude.
Yes.
And I think he said it's around $100 to $150 million worth of Bitcoin that he technically still owns somewhere.
It's lost. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's wherever his computer was, wherever his hard drive is, if it's still in one piece, that's where it is.
Yeah.
More than likely, his Bitcoin are buried.
Buried. They said 3 million Bitcoin have already been buried.
And
there's only 21 million.
The government's got a good handful too, because when they do seizures of like darknet stuff,
right.
That's all Bitcoin transaction.
Yeah, see, I want to look into that conspiracy because
not a conspiracy, it's fact. When they seize, they have cold storage, which is like essentially a flash drive or some sort of a device that has your code, and then you put your Bitcoin on said cold storage, and it's there. I specifically know someone that they had one of these devices and they had lost, someone had taken it.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of Bitcoin on it and gone.
I heard in a lot of the police evidence rooms, there's some hard drives that are just disappearing.
It's like a weird, right now we're getting kind of towards the end of the Wild West era, I would say.
Yeah.
But during like the pure Wild West of it, yeah, if an agent knew what it was and they could just like take it, the government's like, man, I don't care. about some Bitcoin. Now they're probably like, yeah, I wish we had that somewhere.
Oh yeah. Whenever I take a loss on like say like a trade or just anything, take an L in anything where I gotta like fork over money.
A lesson.
I get the lesson, but what always makes me feel better is I Google like worse lessons that other people have learned. I found this one. This guy got fucking SIM swapped. You know what SIM swap is, right?
I assume I know what it is, but what?
You can only really do it on like Verizon, I think, but they call Verizon pretending to be you.
Oh,
they have your info, and then they're like, okay, we'll send you a new SIM card or whatever. I'll put the new SIM on your phone. I don't know how iPhones work now. I'm sure it's not doing with iPhones, but then they got that info. Because they got the info, they can reset all your passwords now with the password reset code being sent to their phone.
Yep.
Some guy got taken for $24 million in Bitcoin. Because my boy Jay Rich, that happened to him. I think he had like 3 Bitcoin, and someone SIM swapped him.
Damn.
He even messaged me and ended up being that guy because that guy was trying to SIM swap other people. He's like, hey, bro, can you send me your number? I sent the guy my number. He did not SIM swap me because I got AT&T. Shout out AT&T.
And that's at whatever the dollar amount you said, or whatever, that's at that current going rate.
Nice, dude.
I'm holding Bitcoin currently.
You have Bitcoin?
Yes.
Nice.
I do have Bitcoin, and I'm holding it.
Same. I accidentally had Bitcoin. You want to hear this funny story?
Yeah.
I tried Forex trading on the algorithm, and you got to buy Bitcoin to transfer it into the account. I let the algorithm go for 3 months. Eventually, I was down like 15%. I'm like, all right, that's my threshold. This was 3 weeks ago. That's my threshold. I put it back into my investment account, and then I tried to take it out into my Coinbase, and this guy called me. He goes, Scott, it was it was such a cringy sales pitch. Scott, now what would you say if I told you that to keep that money in your account, we would give you an extra 10%?
Yeah.
And I go,
do you have it or do you not have it, is what you're saying?
Wait, what?
Do they have your Bitcoin or not?
No, this is when it was still in the account. So that was the monetary value.
I know. Maybe,
I see what
I'm
you're
saying they didn't maybe have all that Bitcoin at the time.
No, they didn't have all that money.
Keep it there. Well, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, because they're obviously hurting. He's like,
yeah.
No, Scott, you don't understand. You don't even have to trade with this money. All you got to do is keep it in there for 2 more weeks, and you get it. And I'm like, no, I'm good. And he goes, well, Scott, when was the last time an investment firm offered you money like this? Or no, he said, when was the last time someone just gave you money? And I go, I don't know, today. It's like, oh, well, okay. It's like, and then he tried to sell me. I'm like, no. So I pulled the money out. I think it got down to like, I think 8,300. So I was 17% down. And I transferred it into my Coinbase. And instead, I was about to transfer it into my account. I'm like, I don't really need it. I'll just keep it in there. Just in case I need to like buy something with Bitcoin.
You never know. Yeah.
3 days later is when Bitcoin went up 10%. Now it's up 20%. I have more money than I started with simply because I left it in Bitcoin. So I'm the same way. I'm just going to hold it.
Yeah.
Why not? Crypto world. I don't.
The halvening is real. That's all I got to say.
It's really hard for me to determine if Bitcoin will become the world's currency.
I don't know about that kind of stuff.
It's very hard because
a variation of it could be.
Yeah.
Not Bitcoin as Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That will not happen, I don't think.
It's like the governments would basically have to be like, and all the big banks and all the lobbyists be like, you're right, guys, this is a much better system. Let's just go with this. Fuck the billions and trillions in profits of the central banking system, Chase.
JP Morgan's are making one?
Yeah, I heard about that. And that's so funny because JP Morgan was a massive criticizer from it from the beginning. He said it was the stupidest thing and everybody's going to lose their money. Now all of a sudden they're making one. Dogecoin, the owner of Dogecoin, said this is the most ridiculous thing ever. I made this as a joke. And now the IPO is more than like, it's like Coca-Cola or something. No, not Coca-Cola. I think Dogecoin is like 500 million for IPO. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm just making up facts now.
I got an interesting story about Dogecoin, but I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. So
okay. Well, actually, we're an hour and a half in, so we might just want to wrap it up here. Can you believe it's been an hour and a half?
No.
I'm telling you, it flies by for sure.
We can keep going if you want. I don't care.
Well, I think you need to go to the bathroom is a good sign. We should end it. Hour and a half. We don't want to turn this into an Elon Musk type or like a Post Malone 4.5 hour.
Yeah.
Podcast, but yeah, what do you want to promote?
I actually had this idea on the way over here. If you're a reseller, DM me on Instagram at Monetary Ocean if you're a reseller. I had an idea into supporting the USPS, and I'm going to elaborate on that more once I get some stuff together. I want to essentially, through some way, create like a nonprofit. Like, I'm not making profit, but where I can sell stuff in support of the USPS and then use that money to then buy their most profitable products to support the USPS. Instead of giving them money, because I don't know where that money would go.
Oh, I see.
If I can just, boom, buy 1 billion stamps.
Yeah.
And then give
Game
away
over.
this. I don't care what happens with the stamps, but like,
I can't
to
wait
support.
I can't wait to hear more about that.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah, check me out on Instagram
Yeah,
at
what if-
Monetary Ocean.
What if they're not a reseller? They can
If they're
still
not a
DM you?
reseller, go fuck up. No, just joking.
Because there's a lot of people watching right now who are probably on their way to work or watching or in their
Yeah.
work right now, just being like, I hate this job. I want to find a way out.
Look up reselling online. It's easier than you'd think. The cost or the barrier to entry, especially on eBay specifically, you can learn if you even want to do this with eBay, because you just find stuff in your house, list it, sell it. If you say, hey, this is, it's pretty interesting, then use that money you just got, buy something.
Yep.
Just try to keep doing research and that kind of stuff, and see if you like it. Reselling
yeah.
isn't for everyone, but it's definitely for me.
And YouTube, Monetary Ocean too.
Yes, Monetary Ocean on YouTube, website also, monetaryocean.com. So
I just had a good idea when you said that. You should do a video where you start with one item.
Yep.
And you just keep trading that up until...
that's in the works, actually.
Hell yeah.
I have a very interesting idea in relation to that. But yes.
I'll be watching for sure. All right. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
In Clayton, Missouri. This is the end of the
Simplified Podcast.
I always forget to not say the. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you.
Peace.